Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Empty, and we're gonna be doing the long-awaited guide to how to do Summoner's Road and what units you should use. So let's just get it started and show you what you should be doing. So the first two bosses are extremely easy, so you just need to hit them really hard. I ended up using a bunch of luck units to make sure I max out my luck meter. So I ended up just using Vitz, Virago, Chloe, and Benimaru. Yeah, just use equipment that you're not gonna be using later on, like nuking equipment, and you're probably not really gonna be like needing this later on either way because the other stages later on are going to be a lot harder. But just hit him really hard with a single true art and she should die. Like I said, very easy. I just used equipment that I just didn't need later on. But yeah, just make sure you're using farmable equipment, and just one true art is enough to kill him. The second one as well, this is extremely easy. So what you're gonna do is just hit them really hard. So I end up having a dark nuke team. If you end up having like some dark nuke comp, just you can replace Simon and Hart with anybody else that hits really hard. Saitama, maybe Mikey, someone else really. You want to use Mikey later on, but you know, that's just a thought. But you can use them to just hit really hard and just get past these stages. So very easy. You're gonna do a true art with 4J on the second like wave, and she's gonna be able to get rid of them for the most part. If that doesn't work out, just pop some equipment, but she should be able to clear it. But the third one is Palamecia. So I just ended up doing two Phantom Bullets here because it's just really easy, and she's just gonna get deleted right away. Also, if it doesn't work out as well, you could just do a couple normal arts here and there, but she's gonna end up getting deleted regardless. But yeah, this one's easy as well, and we're just gonna move on to the one that everybody has the most trouble with. Stage 3 is annoying, but once you get the gist of it, you'll kind of find that it's pretty easy. I find it the easier one out of the main three that are kind of hard, and I'm gonna recommend you some units. So the first two mobs have crit res. Yes, that's it. And the recommended units, here you go. So Pola's excellent. She's actually really good. She's probably one of the top ones in people's list that to recommend. Another one is Key. Key is amazing in this stage as well as the next few ones as well. So Mixie, if you have her, use her. She's used a lot in here, and so is her weapon. If you ended up clearing the Ultra Luck trial, you can also use Aces. Aces has a lot of poisoning in her kit, believe it or not. And if you have her, another good choice. And if you really want to use like someone that can poison, by the way, you can use Groitz. Yeah, not much I can say about Groitz, to be honest. He's just a unit that can poison. As for DPS, you could probably use your poison units, but I would highly recommend probably like Priscilla, Water Priscilla. If not that, then if you have a Vox from Forever Summons, you can also use him. Extremely great. Another one that makes this extremely easy is, believe it or not, Urza from Fairy Tail, currently up for the next few days. It makes this very easy. For art gen, you could go for Lucy. Lucy ends up like increasing crit rate, I believe, for the whole team. And if you want to go the defensive route, Acerpa is great as well, mainly for her 5-star defense slot to put Viper on. And you can also use Mako for her cleansing in case you end up getting poisoned, because this boss does poison at times. Sylphie is a huge MVP when it comes to this stage, and I highly recommend you use her if you have her, and maybe on the later on stages. For DPS, you could just use Urgot Fen because, you know, he's the GOAT at the moment. For equipment, okay, these all poison, so anything you're seeing up on the screen right now, highly recommended that you use it for this boss. It'll make it a lot easier, and of course, you know, you're gonna be doing the damage. Kurama Whip, amazing. Just make sure that you end up running some 4-stars as well that end up like decreasing the poison resistance. But Acerpa's bow is probably the best one that you could be using for this stage, because since it has 90% chance to actually poison. Of course, the spear, Ironwold, which you can get in the elemental dungeons right now, and the Temptation Sunscreen are actually really good for this boss's gimmick. So has quite a few. It reduces damage taken except crit. He takes increased damage when he's poisoned, and at 50% it increases its poison resistance, as well as 30% it increases its crit res. So just be on the lookout for that. For the most part though, it shouldn't be too hard after you end up like reaching that 3rd threshold. He will try to like nuke you with his screen, but the thing is, if you end up using like some equipment that I recommended here, you won't be able to die. And on top of that, if you're using units like Sylphie, you'll be living throughout the entire time, and the health like decrease won't even matter at that point. But yeah, this guy ends up getting super easy at some point. You're gonna end up like clearing it like crazy, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, this wasn't so hard after all. But just make sure you're poisoning him and you should be okay. So now we move to stage 4. This one is quite annoying as it has 2 waves. So first off, the dragon. It nullifies crit damage and has a chance to freeze your units. And the blue skeleton nullifies all damage except when poisoned and lowers crit res. So you want to make sure you have stuff that poisons, and one is able to cleanse freeze or make you immune to freeze. These two first waves aren't that hard at all and are actually very easy to clear, so you can just go ahead and actually just clear them like within the first 20 seconds or so. But you got to remember that in wave 3 it kind of gets a little bit tough. So Herc ends up having reflect resistance, water resistance, and he's able to cancel damage nullification, which means you can't really have your tank protect you for whatever reason. But for the most part, he's not that hard either. When he gets down to the 80% threshold, he'll activate his arch and he'll have a chance to poison you. The thing is that it's a chance, it's not guaranteed to happen, but hopefully you end up having equipment that can actually cleanse it, as well as his 30% as well, and he can lower accuracy as well. But he shouldn't be that hard, and you get right to the boss straight after him once you beat him. Now, getting into the boss and what he does. So, he has Reflect Res, Lifesteal Res, Arch Gauge Down Res, and HP Recover Killer, which means you cannot run units like Mako or Heart on this because he'll just instantly target them and kill them immediately, which kind of sucks. I will also show you recommended units to use for this as well, but for the most part, we're going to go over some other things first. He takes increased damage from units with poison stacks on them. He's also able to stack poisons on your units when he activates his arch, and he boosts his crit rate up by 80%. Every time he uses his arch, his damage will increase, and by the way, he does have a chance to poison with this as well. As for recommended units, Evolti makes this very brain dead. If you want to go with a tauntless tank route, you can go with Sandstone and Favel on your team, but mind you have to run 2 Blessed Necklace. Of course, you can also use Sistina to damage mitigate a little bit, as well as Lisa to make your cooldown go down your weapons faster, and for heals you can use like Sistina as well. Emperor is a good DPS to use as well, just have him on the second slot. Celia as well, and of course for big hitters, Mikey is good, as well as War God Fen. Like I already mentioned, the only recommended equipment you want to use here is Blessed Necklace so you don't die, but that's pretty much it when it comes to this fight, because once you kill him, it's all over. But yeah, that's the 4th stage. And finally, we're here on the 5th one. So the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd wave has a Karak that nullifies crit, takes more damage, and increases his BE output if it's poisoned. And when allies are present, it only takes 1 damage per attack. And it has a chance to disease and lower status element res. As for Dola, it just reduces all allies' magic damage. And now we move on to the boss, which has Reflect, Lifesteal, Arch Gauge Down resistance. And it also cancels damage nullifications and has Spirit Killer for whatever reason. And of course, for most people, this stage actually happens to be easier than the 4th stage, but we can just keep going over what the boss keeps doing. So, it has its arts, which deals more damage with each use and ends up auto-recovering HP and prioritize fainting the rightmost unit. This happens in the last threshold, I do believe. On top of that, you also want to watch out for these things as well. So at each threshold, he'll randomly paralyze a unit on your team and will put in incurable poison. We're going to start looking at recommendations for certain units that you want on your team. So first things first, we're going to put War God Fen here. You know, if you save them to last, yeah, he can do it. Mikey as well. Mikey's really good for this. And you can also use Fire Orville. If you want to feel spicy, you can go with Summer Juno. I've seen a couple comps with this. I thought it was pretty cool. I might try it myself. Mitsuya is really good. That 5-star heal is cool. And plus, he also art-gens. 12 Mizuki is great. And Amelia is actually really good too. Yo is another unit you could use as well. For equipment CT down, go with Lisa. She's amazing. And if you want Artgen plus health, Heart is amazing on this stage. But yeah, let's just move on to recommended equips. Viper, Raz, as well as Elastamer suit, and of course Nudist Beach uniform all have 100% paralyzed resistance and disease resistance. So go ahead and use this. It's actually pretty damn good. But yeah, that's it. Thank you all for watching so much. I gotta give a huge thanks to Ace for letting me use his clips from his video, because I didn't have anything to self-recorded. So like huge ups to like huge thanks to the guy. Make sure you sub to his channel. Link will be in the description down below. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate the fuck out of y'all, and hopefully you enjoyed this guide. Anyways, I'll catch y'all later. Peace, and let me know what you all think in the comments down below. See you later.